Philodo. Philodo? Philodo. I have no idea, but I do know all about this H8, so let's break it down. So we're about to hit the road and then the trails, and if you stick around long enough, I'll break down my pros and cons and summarize this bike up and what I really think. But first, let's break down what this is all about. And first, assembly. For the most part, it went pretty fine. I did have a hard time getting this cage on, so I'll give it an average assembly. Once I got past that, it was very typical and very straightforward. Anybody can do it, but I did have a small challenge there. Now, as far as the bike goes itself and what it has, typical e-bike with a lot of the standard features, but this one is a dual motor, meaning 1,000 watt power here, and 1,000 watt power here, 2,000 total, all-wheel drive, which is a lot of fun, and we're going to be talking a lot about that. It does have other features like the cage, so you can bring stuff with you and strap it down, adjustable seat, headlight, through push button controls including a horn, 21-speed bike with a cell phone holder, shocks, and if you ask me, this is a cool looking bike. I have very much enjoyed the look of this bike, but let's go hit the roads. So hitting the road with the H8, and if you're new to e-bikes, at first you might look at it and go, oh, that's big, it's heavy, and you can be a little intimidated, but once you hop on these, you realize you're in complete control. You really feel good. I never feel unsafe or like I just got on something that's too big. And other people I've had test it feel the same way. So this bike is no exception to that. You're in complete control. You feel very good. Even though it's got these big old tires on it, if I want to play around, I want to swerve, I can have fun. I'm in control. There's a lot you can do. And even as I get up to the high speeds, and I'll show you later, it can still do that really well. So overall, very well built bike. I feel very in control. Everything is put together really well. So very happy with that. Now it does have the shocks, so you can lock them in or you can have them unlocked, meaning if you have a smooth road, you can just lock it in and it's just a straight bike. But if you have a situation where the roads are rough and you want to absorb some of that impact, you can do that. So I'm gonna be hitting the trails here in a little while, so you'll see the difference that can make and how you still feel comfortable on trail roads. Now, something that's important to understand on these bikes is the PAS system or the pedal assist and what that means, because bike to bike, it can be very different in how it works. And with this one, it supports you up to a mile/hour range. So you can see I'm in PAS 1, the lightest setting as far as e-bike support goes, and it is having me go at 6.9 miles per hour. So I am still working, I'm still pedaling, I'm getting some exercise right now, my heart rate is up, I can tell, but the bike is supporting me at that level. Now, if I hit up, you can see that really quickly. I'm gonna get to the next stage, which is around 14 miles per hour. And every up through 4, it will do that. 5 seems to be uncapped, meaning when I get to 5, it will help me, but then it goes faster than I can pedal. So it's more of a top speed option. So if you're gonna go fast and have some fun, 5 is great, but it's more of a throttle option, meaning you're gonna use a throttle right here, and you might pedal at intersections or when you have to slow down to get back up to speed faster, but then you're just gonna use that throttle to maintain a top speed because it's gonna go too fast to pedal. But you have good options as 1 through 4 if you want exercise and e-bike functionality. Now, being that this is a higher powered version bike, you want to know if it's going to be able to handle different situations. So I'm going to give you a couple tests right now. One from a stop, what it's like. So I'm going to put it at PAS 5, so I have all the power. And then I'll do a 15 on, so you see what that's like. So hitting full throttle, you can see it's a little slow to start. But once it gets to about 5, 6, 7 miles per hour, then it really starts to take off. And you're going to see in no time I'm at top speed. It's already at 30 miles per hour. Let's say you're doing around 15 miles per hour and you want to go, this is what it looks like. One of the reasons I was really interested in this bike is I wanted something with a little more top end speed. And in my 52 miles so far, it always gets to 34.7 miles per hour. It's capped there, but it has no problem reaching those numbers. So I can go longer distances faster, and I have very much enjoyed that. But you can see that hill in front of us. I'm gonna do a series of tests to show how much speed we lose going up the hill, because lesser powered e-bikes can lose a lot of speed and you're crawling by the top. Another thing other e-bikes really struggle with is going up a steep hill from a stop. So let's give this a test, throttle only. A little slow to start, but now really pulling through it. Not as fast as flat road, obviously, but handling it pretty darn well. It does have easy light and horn controls, which I appreciate. Sometimes you have to like hold a combo here on some e-bikes to get your light to turn on and off. With this, just that button turns my light on and off, and the horn is right here. It's a nice loud horn. I mostly use it to mess with my kids, but it's there for safety reasons as well and works really well. But let's head to the trails and let me show you what's up there. And this is not sponsored, just my opinion. I paid for this myself, but if you do think you might get this, I have a link in the description. Please check it out. It helps the channel and keeps the reviews coming. So I've arrived at the trails and I have unlocked my shock, so it's actually absorbing some of the impact, and it is important because there's roots I'm going over, there's bumps and different things that I don't want to feel through this bike as I'm riding it or knocking me off the trail. And I'm feeling very connected to this trail, really enjoying the experience. I do have the shocks or the dampener set pretty stiff, so it's still pretty firm with what it's doing. I could set it softer if I need to, but I don't really feel like I need to, but it's nice to have that flexibility. Power-wise, I have more than enough to do what I want to do here, and the all-wheel drive is proving to be beneficial. Not that it's necessary with these big tires. Other e-bikes could do this pretty easily as well, but when you're going up a hill and you want to hit that throttle and go, it's nice to have both wheels pull you and to have that power from both wheels too, so you have that acceleration, that fun factor. So it does add a little bit more and you feel a little bit more connected to the trail. So overall, everything's been very enjoyable as I cruise through these trails and have some fun. Not going too fast so you don't have to listen to all that wind noise, but if I wanted to, I could. But there was a huge root right there and lifted my body up a little bit as I hit it, but no problems. I could feel the bike take some of that impact. I never felt unsafe at all, felt completely in control. And I will say that this thing is so much fun. Road, trail, sand, whatever you're gonna throw at it, it's gonna be able to handle. This is one fun bike with plenty of power, plenty of control, and just overall blast to ride. Now I'm going through a semi-smoother spot in between the grass and again, handling it with ease. All right, it's time for me to exit these trails, but real quick, a fun test. Downhill a little bit, sandy trail here. I want to get up and go. Let's see what happens if I hit that throttle. And 25.7. Easy, fun. I really like this bike. So now that we've hit the roads and the trails, let's wrap this bike up in what I really think. And to be perfectly honest, I absolutely love this bike. It is my favorite e-bike that I've tested so far. And a large part of that is because it has the power and it has the all-wheel drive. And I just feel like I can do more with that. I can have more fun and I have a better top end speed to be able to go places that I want to that are farther away, and I enjoy that. But what I also like about that is, considering it has more power, more going on and more engineering, it didn't seem to send the price to the stratosphere. So I very much appreciate that. And at the same time, it didn't compromise in other areas. It didn't go with, well, I got speed, but I'm gonna take away everything else. It still has the rack. It has a cell phone holder. It has 21 gears. The functionality and the screens and the change and the PAS and all that stuff, it works really well. So it's a bike that doesn't have a lot of compromise, doesn't have a terrible price point compared to others, but has a lot of power. So it's just a good all-around package. Now, I'm not saying it's perfect. There are a few things I've noticed. Some things I would personally change is the rack. I wish it had some straps to it, some bungee cords that are built in. Another e-bike I've tested did do that, and I really like that it was just built in. Another thing is the PAS system. It's not terrible. I don't hate it. I actually kind of enjoy it. But my preference is that it supports you through a power amount, not a speed amount. So where this supports you up to 7 miles per hour, 14, 21, other bikes support you through a power level. So it might say, hey, the bike's gonna do 20% of the work, you're gonna do 80. If you bump it up, it's 40, 60, 60, 40. There's different splits, so you can kind of choose how much do I wanna work, how much exercise do I want, but how much do I want the bike to do? And I prefer that PAS setup better, but this isn't terrible. It's still very enjoyable, but that is one thing I would tweak if I could, and I manage this bike myself. The last point I'm gonna make is that when I buy these e-bikes, it's so that I can test them and put them on my channel, then I sell them to free up money and get the next e-bike. But with this one, I don't have any plans to sell it. I've enjoyed it that much. So until something better comes along that does the same things I've talked about, but better, I am keeping this one. So I'm putting that in there just to kind of give you an idea of how much I really have enjoyed this. And last thing, this is a new channel. Subscribe, share, like, if you could. It makes a huge difference. I appreciate it.